objectives. So this means that the future generation of young entrepreneurs needs to think differently. Maybe we need to get out of trying to provide services to the developed countries. Maybe we need to find ways to solve the real problems related to education, sanitation, health infrastructure. How are we going to showcase our intellectual capital to the world and the strength of our country if we are not focusing on those problems? If we are not preventing another Uttarakhand tragedy by using our technology, our predictive abilities, our algorithms, our intellectuals, if we are not going to be able to avoid those kind of tragedies and solve those kind of problems, how are we really going to get to the world to take us seriously? So start thinking about the huge place that you have in the world. And there are many incentives, there are many awards for social entrepreneurship. There are many avenues to gain recognition when you come up with solutions to those problems. Start thinking about them and start bidding for them. Let's start thinking about projects to find solutions. Let's start measuring the problem and brainstorming for the solution. And we can no longer be comfortable serving as outsourcing vendors for developed countries. So I think it's time for us to get out of our comfort zone. In my role, I do have a chance to look at various aspects other than business, but also research, also education, also the social sector. And if any of my links and networks can be of use to any of you, I'm more than happy to discuss these things. So this is the two thoughts that I'll leave you with for today. And I'm really happy that Ty gave me this opportunity to interact with you. I know it's been maybe a slightly not very optimistic speech, but I think that I still look with a lot of hope at the kind of ventures that all of you are going to build. And we as an international trade and investment organization are here to support that journey. Thank you so much.
With this, we come to the next part of our program. All of us have been waiting to hear Ram. Kiran, I'd invite you to the stage, and I'd invite Ram as well for a chat where we uncover how Ram is what he is today. Kiran and Ram, please.
Sofa is so comfortable, I might go to sleep.
Good evening to everyone. Ram, welcome.
Thank you, Kiran.
Been a good evening so far. We've heard a lot of things, so given you a lot of details. Hopefully, it's been a bit of a time getting Ram here for different reasons. First time, unfortunately, the death in the family because of which he could not come, and after that, every time his national initiatives came in the way. But we are very glad to have him here. Ram, it's about you today that we're going to talk, and obviously TCS becomes a very integral part of you as we have seen, but we will go beyond TCS as well. What I will do is, we are a little late on time, so Ram doesn't speak much, but I will have him speak a little bit and we'll turn it over for Q&A. Can I have the volunteers to collect the questions down the line? That building is where TCS started, so we'll start with TCS. And I had an occasion to read your book, so there were things in the book that I did not know as an ex-TCSer, and this is the place where TCS was, right, in the beginning.
This is the Nirmal building at Nariman Point.
And you were like, what, 20, 25, 30 people?
Yeah, we were only about 30 or 35. We had some of our old computers, the IBM 1401, the ICL 1903. I think we were part of the operations, programming, everything all rolled into one. We did all the functions.
All the functions. And you also went out for movies and afternoon things when you got a contract?
Yeah, occasionally we did, because Eros was very close by, Regal was close by. We had lunch together.
So now I want to put some time horizon here. And this is like for everyone, TCS is about 45 years old. That's probably older than some of you, not me, but some of you are born. The first overseas project that TCS did, Ram, was 74, in 1974, I guess. New York office that you set up was 35 years. So we're talking of everything 30 years plus. But most people think industry is just about 10 years old. So what do you have to say on that?
I think we have not communicated very well. This is the first thing. I think the industry, we have to clear the forest before everybody runs on the highway. So that's what we did in the early stages. Because computers were not available, computers were not used, because everyone thought it was displacing jobs. And then you look outside, because that's the only place that you can look at from a marketing point of view. But most importantly, we had the critical element, namely the intellectual capacity or the raw material as we call it.
And I just want to bring out one thing here that if you recall in 1985 we started using email, right, which is more than 20 years, 28, 30 years back. So we started using new technology about 30, 35 years back.
Right.
But that was sort of isolated to TCS, or was it across the board?
No, I think it was across the board, because when we started 72, 74, 79, when I went to the US, we used the IBM electronic typewriter. Then we used the fax machines very effectively.
Right.
I think phones were very difficult because you tried to get through the operator, and by the time you got through, the business had gone away. So I think you had to go through all these phases. The point in mentioning all of this is, you learn from these experiences how to optimize, you learn from these experiences how to use the best resource that is available at that point in time, and how to catch the next wave which you can use when you get an opportunity to do it very early. All these experiences are very important, because how do you work in difficult times? Somebody mentioned that we need to raise the money and times are bad and we need to raise the money in spite of that. I think these are the things where the best in you will come out. You're going to communicate what you really, in a very focused manner, what you are looking for, and why I or anyone as an investor should look at investing in your opportunity or in your idea. I think you do best in adverse times rather than in good times. Good times, everybody will be wanting to spend the money, everybody grows with it, but when it is a very, very difficult time, the best ideas come to the surface and best ideas get funded. So I won't give up when things are difficult, assuming that the environment is bad, so let's rest for a while and keep waiting for the next opportunity. It would not come, I can promise you.
Ram, I have sort of the next slide. You will probably have to look back the way it is. This is TCS of today. You can recognize your corporate office, and all the numbers are there. Just for your own, 27% to the bottom line, over 13% growth of a business which is over $10 billion. That's close of the world. And while there are 276,000 professionals, TCS would have created over 1 million jobs by now.
Yeah, because I think today's TCS strength is 285,000 people, which we published when we announced the result last week, I think. It's a people story. I don't think any single person can claim any credit. The people story and people who are part of the organization today or who were a part of the TCS at some point in time. I think the whole capacity to institutionalize and build people to their potential, give them the opportunities to develop to their full potential is what we guarantee. Beyond that, it's left to the individual. A lot of people come to us, Kiran is, I'm sure, aware, they'll come and ask us, what is my job? How far can I go in the organization? What is my growth path? All we tell is, growth path is depending on you. The company will give you enough opportunities, enough areas where you can function depending upon your interest, depending upon your capability. But where you go or where you want to go is your personal choice.